First, I want to just publicly thank God for the girls and them being in their mom's life and vice versa. We prayed over this for a long time. We got on our knees and prayed over it, and I thanked him and thanked him and thanked him, but I want to publicly thank him for what he's doing and what he's going to do. I was just going to share a little, I had a couple weeks ago, I had kind of a rough day of work starting out. The day before, I was cutting in a 16-inch water main into a 16-inch water main down in Roseville, and it's a pretty tough job. And the district I was working in are extremely tough. They didn't like our company. I hadn't worked with them personally, but so they had a meeting, told me what I needed to have and everything. I got everything there, so I thought I was stressed over it a little bit the night before because I called one of the bosses and I asked him, can I get another labor? Because I need decent labor and an operator. And he said, no, we don't have any. So I went home and I was thinking about it the night before, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it to God and not stress over it. And I pick stuff up after I give it to him. You know, I think about it again and then worry. And I kept doing that, putting that aside. So on my way to work the next morning, I called the other foreman to see if I could still have the operator, and he said, no, he's busy. So I'm my own operator on a piece of equipment. I'm shorthanded for the guys in the ditch, and it's a big job with some people that aren't real friendly. So I started on my way to work every morning. I pray myself up all the way down the hill, and then when I'm going from the yard to the job site, I listen to worship music quite a bit because it seems to really get my day going. It gets me on fire. I get out of the truck wanting to bless people, and I do. So I'm on my way, and I'm listening to the worship music, and then I started thinking I'm getting close to the job. Everything's getting ready to happen, and it's not pretty. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with the company. I just kept moving forward, and I started looking at the sun coming up over the mountains, and I thought, wow, who can do that? Only God. Nobody can even come close. The mountains that were all there, it's like he just sifted them with his hand and put it in place. So I'm just focused on him, and I get to the job. I got 2 inspectors there, and first thing I said, well, I went and checked for my parts. Well, my parts didn't even show up. So I've got a lot going on, and I wasn't happy. But I got out, and they said, how's it going? I said, well, it's going to be kind of a rough day. I'm my own operator, and I'm 1 laborer short, but I'm going to make it happen. And they said, okay, and everything. And I said, you know what I did? And I told the inspectors and all the bosses, I said, I prayed on the way here. And this thing I can do. I don't have a laborer, I don't have an operator. So I prayed over all you guys, and I did. And so I said, let's go see what happens. And I asked them, I said, you know, if you let me do a hot cap on this, it'd be a lot easier. And they said, well, why aren't you? And I said, well, at the meeting, you guys said no. Well, everything changed. All of a sudden, everything changed. So that made the job way simpler. Then I got the other foreman calls me up and says, hey, another operator showed up out here. You got an operator if you want him. You know, right on, that's great. Everything changed on that entire job from a stressful situation that, and I deal with these all the time, but I haven't really been good at giving them to God all the time. The minute I did, the parts weren't even there to do the part, but he made everything possible. He freed up laborers. The inspectors were the best inspectors, and I got to witness to them a little bit. I bring up God all the time, but it was like a full-blown miracle to me. I called the pastor first thing. I was so excited. Everything changed. So the fitting I needed was 13 days out. I made a phone call. I needed a fitting for a hot tap to do it that day. It's 13 days out. I called another company. They said, we just found one on the shelf that very seldom ever used part, but they just happened to have it. And I knew right when things started falling into place, it was 100% God. It wasn't anything less. It wasn't anything. It was it. And he just took that whole job, turned everything around, everything that I was stressed over and worried about. And I feel it was because I just kept giving it to him and kept giving it to him. And I wish I was better at that, and I wish I'd have learned that a few years back. But I want to thank I want to thank God that we have a pastor that preaches straight out of the Bible. He doesn't give us his opinion. He listens to God, he hears God, and he preaches God's word. And I'm just so thankful to have that man and where he is.
Amen.
All right.